Welcome to Legal Marketing Minutes, where I share short bursts of current marketing news and advice. I'm your host, Nancy Myrland. If we haven't met, I'm a marketing, business development, content, social, and digital media speaker, trainer, and advisor for lawyers and legal marketers. Your time is valuable, so let's get started, okay? Well, welcome to client service tip number 2. And today we're going to talk about, again, along the client service continuum, about being proactive. And here are my suggestions for you. I want you to be proactive by asking clients what a successful project looks like to them. And you can do this in a number of ways. You can do it at different times during your relationship with them. But the very first time that I would suggest doing it is when they are first interviewing you, or when you're first interviewing them for compatibility. And ask them, what's happening now that's successful, what's not happening now that you would like to see happen, and then lead into that question. What does a successful project look like to you? And then just let them talk. Don't put words in their mouth. Just let them talk and let them define it. Of course, ask follow-up questions, but put the ball in their court and let them answer that question. And then what I would say is that don't forget to ask them that same question again from time to time. Summarize their original answers about what a successful project looked like and ask them if anything has changed. I mean, situations change. Your situation changes. Your client's situation could change. Work projects and something on their side might have changed, as well as any matter progress that you've made could also change expectations or your client's picture of a successful project. So make sure that you calendar in times to ask that same question to your client. You won't be sorry. And now that you know their definition of success, what I want you to do is prepare summaries or notes or reports on a regular basis to keep them up to date and to help them remember what success looks and feels like. And I want you to review those reports with them. I mean, this only has to take 15 minutes if you're doing it regularly. Seriously, if you are doing it regularly, then the progress you made in the last week or the last 2 weeks, and yes, I would do it that often unless they tell you to stop because it's just too much. But what client is going to tell you to stop providing updates to them? That's usually one of the number one complaints that we hear from clients about attorneys, is that they don't know what's going on. There's too much radio silence in between updates. And what I don't want you to be is surprised when all of a sudden they tell you, you didn't let us know what was going on, and we're moving on. We're taking our legal representation somewhere else. So just keep them up to date and remind them of that. So review those reports with them. Again, just a few minutes. And you can do this any number of ways. You can do it via telephone. You can do it via Skype, or my tool of choice with my clients is Zoom. It's a great tool. And the reason I recommend Skype or Zoom, if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it and don't let that stop you. But because I think people like to see people's eyes. They like to look at each other face to face. You can watch body language. You can see whether someone is frustrated, whether they're happy, whether they're hopeful, whether something else is on their mind. So when you can, do it face to face like that. Now, the ultimate, and we've talked about this before, the ultimate obviously is if you could do it person to person, live somewhere, maybe go get a coffee or an iced tea in my case. But that's not always possible. And a 15-minute update can turn into 2 hours of their time or your time, and that just might not be feasible. If it is, oh my gosh, great. Or maybe you do, maybe it's a combination, it's a hybrid, where you give them these updates via Skype or Zoom or telephone once a week, but then you say, can we do this once, the one at the beginning of every month or once a month? Can we do these updates person to person? Now, you may be long distance from them, and again, that might not be possible. So you know your situation best, and I want you to modify this accordingly. So with all of these suggestions, what I want you to do, the theme is be proactive. I've given you a few ideas about how to accomplish this, but you can probably think of more on your own. I mean, don't go overboard though, because what might happen is that, I've given you a couple of ideas, and what might happen is that you create a list of 10 things to do, and that may be an exaggeration, but you create a list of several things to do that would be considered proactive, and I applaud you for that. But what might happen is that that list becomes so heavy that you end up dreading it, or your client might end up dreading it, because there just isn't the time to accomplish all of those. So don't overload yourself. Don't overload your client. Just make sure that you pick some really important and valuable tools so that you can be proactive with them and answer their definition of success and then report back to them on a regular basis. I mean, think about it. How many other attorneys really do this? How many do it on a regular basis and nurture and solidify that relationship with the client? Well, I have a feeling it's not as many as we might hope or we might think. So the important thing is just provide value. And remember this important point, that this isn't only good client service, it's also about client retention and ultimately business development. Well, that's it for today's Legal Marketing Minutes. Do me a favor and let me know your thoughts about this topic. Do you think this is something you could do with your clients? Do you think it's something you will do? If you're listening on a platform where you can leave a comment, please do so, as I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If not, you can always find me on my blog at myrlandmarketing.com, which is MYRLAND marketing.com. Also, if you're connected to the legal profession, which most of you are when you visit, I invite you to join my Facebook group where we discuss marketing, business development, content, social, and digital media, which are all intertwined, You can find that by searching Facebook for Social Media for Lawyers and Legal Marketers with Nancy Myrland. When you do, just let me know this is how you found out about the group. Thank you so much for spending a few legal marketing minutes with me. I know your time is valuable, so I appreciate you spending them here with me. Until next time, I'm Nancy Myrland. Take care.